If your sum formula is returning 0, but you can tell there are numbers in the range, you're not alone. This usually isn't a bad sum problem. It's a hidden calculation issue. Something about the cells, the workbook, or the settings is blocking Excel from adding what you think it's adding. In this video, you'll learn a practical checklist you can run in minutes. We'll start with the fastest checks, like whether the values are actually numbers. Then we'll move into the sneaky ones, like manual calculation mode, filtered or hidden rows, and formulas that look correct but reference the wrong range. You'll also learn how to spot errors caused by formatting, rounding, and text characters that you can't easily see. The goal is simple. When Excel shows 0 instead of a real total, you'll know exactly where to look, what to change, and how to prevent it from happening again. Next step. First, let's lock in the most common root cause. The numbers aren't numbers. Excel can display something that looks numeric, but store it as text. When that happens, sum ignores it, or treats it differently depending on the situation. A quick clue is alignment. Text often sits left, numbers right, but that's not reliable. A better test is to use a simple check like is text on one of the cells, or try adding 0 to it in a helper cell. If adding 0 changes it, it was text. Another sign is a leading apostrophe, or imported data with extra spaces. The fix can be as simple as using value, or using text to columns with no real splitting, just to coerce types. You can also multiply by 1, or use paste special with multiply. Once the values are truly numeric, sum starts behaving normally again. Next step. Next, check for hidden characters that make a cell look like a number, but break calculations. This happens a lot with copied data from websites, PDFs, or exported systems. The cell may contain non-breaking spaces, invisible line breaks, or a different minus sign character. Excel won't always treat that as a clean number. If you suspect this, use len to compare the length you expect versus what's really in the cell. You can also use clean to remove non-printing characters and trim to remove extra spaces. But note trim doesn't remove non-breaking spaces. For those, substitute is the usual fix, replacing char 160 with a normal space. After cleaning, wrap the result in value to force numeric conversion. This sounds technical, but it's a reliable way to fix totals that stubbornly stay at 0. Next step. Now let's talk about a setting that can make correct formulas look wrong. Calculation mode. If Excel is set to manual, formulas won't update when the data changes. You might enter new numbers and the sum keeps showing 0 because it never recalculated. This often happens when you open a workbook that was saved in manual mode, or when you work with large models and someone switched it for performance. The fix is straightforward. Set calculation back to automatic, then trigger a full recalculation. It's also worth knowing that some workbooks behave differently if they contain links, volatile functions, or large tables. If you're troubleshooting, don't guess. Confirm the calculation mode, then force a recalculation. When sum suddenly wakes up, you've found the problem. Next step. Another common reason sum shows 0 is that you're summing the wrong range, usually because the range looks right, but it isn't. This happens with inserted rows, copied formulas, or when a total references a block that stops one row early. It also happens when your data is in multiple sections with blank rows, and the sum only covers the first section. A fast way to validate is to click into the formula and confirm the first and last cell. If your data grows, consider using an Excel table so the sum range expands automatically. If you can't use a table, use a dynamic range approach, but keep it simple and predictable. The key idea is this. If the range doesn't include the numbers, sum can only return what it can actually see. Sometimes that's 0. Next step. Filters and hidden rows can also make totals confusing, especially if you expect the total of visible items only. A normal sum adds everything in the range, including hidden rows. But if your visible rows are all zeros, or if the visible subset is tiny, you might think sum is broken. In other cases, you might be using subtotal or aggregate somewhere else and comparing it to sum, which creates a mismatch. The fix is to decide what you actually want, total of all rows or total of visible rows. If you want visible-only totals, use subtotal with the right function number, or aggregate for more control. If you want all rows, keep some, but verify that your filters aren't hiding the values you expected to count. This isn't a bug, it's a visibility versus logic issue. Next step. Let's cover errors that silently turn your total into zero. One big one is if logic that returns an empty string, like two quotes, instead of a real zero. If your cells contain formulas that sometimes return blank text, some may ignore them, and the total can look like it's missing values. Another is when intermediate formulas return errors, and the total is wrapped in something like if error that replaces the error with zero. That makes the final sum look clean, but it hides the real issue upstream. A good troubleshooting move is to temporarily remove if error, or use a separate check that counts errors in the range. Also watch for numbers stored as text created by formulas, like text or concatenation. The takeaway is simple. The sum result is often correct, but the inputs were transformed in a way you didn't notice. Next step. Formatting can mislead you too. A cell can contain a non-zero number, but be formatted to display as zero. For example, custom formats can hide decimals or show dashes for small values. Rounding can also make the total look like zero when it's actually a small fraction. This is common when values are the result of division, percentages, or currency conversions. A quick test is to change the format to general or increase decimal places. You can also check the formula bar to see the underlying value. If you need the displayed value to match the calculated value, you have options, like rounding at the source with round or using precision settings carefully. Just be cautious. Changing precision can permanently alter stored values. Most of the time, the fix is simply to format the cells in a way that matches your reporting needs. Next step. Now for a less obvious one. Workbook level or sheet level settings that affect calculations. Circular references can cause Excel to stop calculating properly, depending on settings. External links can also return zeros if the source workbook is unavailable, not updated, or blocked. And if you're using functions like SUMIFs, a criteria mismatch can produce a zero that looks like a calculation error when it's really a logic mismatch. The way to troubleshoot is to simplify. Replace the complex formula with a basic sum on the same range. If basic sum works, the issue is your criteria or logic. If basic sum still returns zero, the issue is the data type, range, or calculation state. This simplify to isolate method saves time because it tells you whether you're dealing with data problems or formula logic problems. Next step. Here's a practical, repeatable checklist you can run whenever sum shows zero. Step 1. Confirm the range is correct and includes the rows you expect. Step 2. Test a few cells. Are they numbers or text, and do they contain hidden spaces? Step 3. Confirm calculation mode is automatic and force recalculation. Step 4. Check whether filters or hidden rows are changing what you think should be included. Step 5. Inspect upstream formulas for if error, text, or blanks that turn numbers into text. And Step 6. Verify formatting, especially decimals and custom number formats. If you follow these steps in order, you'll usually find the culprit fast, without randomly changing settings. And once you fix it, consider preventing it. Use tables, validate imports, and standardize how values are cleaned and converted. Before you go, I'm curious, do you run into this more from copied data or from workbook settings, A or B? Share your choice in the comments. If you want more Excel troubleshooting checklists like this, subscribe. Next step. One more advanced tip. If you suspect only some cells are being ignored, use quick diagnostics to count what Excel thinks is numeric. For example, count counts numbers, while counta counts non-empty cells. If counta is high but count is low, you have text or blanks masquerading as values. You can also use sum product with a double negative to coerce values, but treat that as a diagnostic first, not a permanent patch, because it can hide data hygiene problems. Another useful approach is to check for leading and trailing spaces with a helper column that compares the original to trim. And if your data comes from imports regularly, build a small cleaning step into your workflow. Clean, convert to numbers, then calculate. The goal is to make the workbook resilient, so totals stay correct even when the input data is messy. Next step. Finally, let's talk prevention, because the best fix is the one you don't need next time. If you're importing data, standardize the process. Keep raw data on one sheet, then clean it in a separate area, and only then build totals and reports. Use Excel tables for any list that grows. Avoid mixing text and numbers in the same column, even if it looks fine. And be careful with functions that intentionally output text, like text, because they can break later math. If performance is the reason someone used manual calculation, document it and add a clear step to switch back before saving. These small habits make some issues rare, and when they do happen, your troubleshooting becomes quick and predictable. That's the real win: confidence that your totals reflect reality, not hidden spreadsheet quirks. I'm always testing new ways to work smarter. Subscribe to see what workflow I'm breaking down next.